What is up, Game Changer community? Brian Smith here. Wanted to pop in and say hi and thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, the Away Game, A Christian Parent's Guide to Navigating Youth Sports, comes out on July 1st. And I'm saying thank you because a lot of you in this room contributed to what this final book is today. And so through emailing back and forth, some of the advice you gave, topics you suggested, a lot of that made this book. In fact, one of the emails that was sent to Ed and I, the co-author of the book, the email that was sent became how we opened up the book. We titled it "A Letter from a Concerned Parent," and so this book, how it exists today, does not exist without your feedback and your help. So thanks for being partners in that. What are some things from the book that may be helpful to you? And I want to share this with you because you, whether you know it or not, you, just like me, are a sports missionary. 2 Corinthians 5:18 is going to talk about how if you have been reconciled to Christ, you have been given the ministry of reconciliation. So if you are a Christ follower and you have a kid involved in youth sports, you are a sports missionary. You may not be one vocationally like I am, but it is part of your calling to be a minister of reconciliation within the context of sport. And so, one of the things that we talk about in this book that is super practical for people in this space is the car ride home. What do we do with the car ride home? Why is it so important? There's been studies shown that the majority of kids who quit sports or have a negative experience with youth sports growing up tie it back to the car ride home. Why is it? What is it about the car ride home that positions athletes, young athletes, to have a negative experience with sports? We were talking to a friend the other day, and they said this quote, and you'll be familiar with this: "All is well that ends well. All is well that ends well," or "all will be well that ends well." And it's actually tied to a psychological principle, this idea that how things end impact how we remember how they actually went. So if your kid has a great time playing sports or a poor time playing sports, but then they get in the car and we as parents spend the entirety of the car ride home critiquing, coaching, criticizing, that's how their experience ends. And they're going to remember the totality of their experience based off how it ends. And so, what would it look like? This is going to be super spiritual, right? What would it look like for us to just not do any of that stuff and just play music on the car ride home? Spiritual, right? What would it look like for us instead of to coach and correct and critique, even if it's out of well intentioned? What would it look like for us to try to connect with our kid instead? And so here's something that I've just started doing the last couple years. I think it's been a huge relational win for me and my kids. The second they get into the car after the game, I will ask this question: is there anything from the game that you would like to talk about today? 99% of the time, they say, "Nope, I'm good." We turn on the radio and we sing all the way home. Kids after the game, oftentimes, most of the time, they don't want to analyze it like we do. We as adults are wired like the ESPN analysts who just want to like figure out everything that just happened and talk about it and how we can get better. Our kids just want to listen to music, get home, eat, and take a shower. And so we need to respect that. That's one way that we can be a sport missionary, because it's hopefully prolonging our kids' time in sports, but it's also building relational connection to them, where hopefully the car ride becomes a place of safety and security and trust. And when they remember the totality of their youth sports experience, they're remembering it as mom and dad really loved me because we got ice cream afterwards, or we got to listen to music afterwards, or whatever the case afterwards. So let's utilize the car ride home to build connection with our kids and not coach them to death. Thank you so much again, Game Changers. Again, Away Game does not exist without a lot of your help. So thank you for being partners with us in this. If you haven't, pre-order the book and let us know how we can continue to serve and partner together. Thanks, everyone.